There are two kinds of people in this world. People who cringe inside at the thought of Spam, and the ones who grew up frying it golden, knowing that somewhere under all the shame and salt was something beautiful. Spam isn't just food. It's a confession, a history, a pink gelatinous relic of American desperation. Spam was created in 1937 during the Great Depression, to absolutely no one's surprise. At that point in time, pork shoulder is widely seen as an undesirable cut of meat. Due to its size, it takes forever to cook. Not a lot of people doing barbecue during the Great Depression, I guess. Jay Hormel, son of the founder George Hormel and then president of Hormel Foods, saw all this pork shoulder going to waste and thought, how can I make some money off of that? His team came up with a formula: processed pink protein sludge that could be cooked right in the can and last forever. Pork shoulder, ham, salt, water, sugar, sodium nitrate. 6 ingredients and the eternal promise of shelf stability.
Ridiculous. You and I will not make garbage. We will produce a chemically pure and stable product that performs as advertised.
You could feed a soldier. You could feed a family. You could feed a small village if you didn't ask too many questions. They called it spiced ham, Spam for short, originally sold for around 25 cents a can. And after a hefty marketing campaign, Spam was absolutely everywhere. Then came the Second World War, and Spam, sweet, salty, indestructible Spam, became the taste of democracy. By 1945, over 150 million pounds of it had crossed the oceans. It fed GIs in Foxholes, Russian soldiers on the Eastern Front. Eisenhower ate it, so did Stalin, and every grunt with a rifle and a heartbeat. Soldiers ate so much Spam that Spam fatigue became a real thing that people actually said. But like my mom used to say, you'll either eat it or you'll starve.
Damn good deal.
Wherever the US military went, Spam went too, and then stayed behind. Hawaii, Guam, the Philippines, Korea. Places that saw the absolute worst that humanity had to offer, but found a strange comfort in this cheap little brick of meat. In Hawaii, they fry it crisp, press it over rice, and wrap it in nori. The Spam Musubi, perfect for breakfast, lunch, and hangovers. In Korea, Spam is often given as a gift, wrapped in gold foil. Back home in the States, though, Spam became the punchline to its own existence. By the 1960s, it was a joke. Poor people's meat. TV dinner's weird cousin, until Monty Python showed up.
Spam, bacon, sausage, and spam. Spam, egg, spam, bacon, and spam.
The iconic skit would gain the hearts and minds of everybody in America. And just like that, the little pink brick became immortal. Probably one of the first memes ever in existence. Hormel leaned into the madness. They opened a Spam museum in Minnesota, launched flavors like jalapeno, teriyaki, and even a pumpkin spice Spam, and it sold out in hours because humanity cannot be trusted. Today, Spam's in over 40 countries and sells 400 million cans a year. Here's the thing about Spam. It's never gonna go away. You can't cancel Spam. Spam never lied to you. It doesn't pretend to be grass-fed, organic, or ethnically raised. It's honest and it's simple. If you really want to understand a culture, look at what they eat whenever they're broke, tired, or hungover. For some, it's ramen. For others, it's beans on toast. And for millions, it's Spam. Fried crisp, stacked on rice, or mixed into scrambled eggs. It's the taste of resilience, a food too stubborn to die. And whether you love it or you hate it, Spam is America in a can. Salty, processed, efficient, and weirdly comforting. It's definitely not fine dining. It's survival, with a little shame and a whole lot of soul. And honestly, I think that's kind of beautiful. Stay salty, my friends. See you next time.